Well, I actually like this question because, after all, it is everyone's business, isn't it? And I guess for a long time now, perhaps more pronounced after the tragic death of George Floyd, an organisation's go-to response was to ask the people of colour, perhaps consulting more now with Black and Asian people than ever before. And not always did that feel authentic. There was an expectation placed upon our colleagues that they are the expert and that they need to generate the ideas for change rather than seeing the importance of a two-way street. Other organisations, I guess, have expected HR and talent teams to drive this agenda and focus on numbers and profile only, which again can be perceived as tokenistic, and not addressing the disconnect. So I guess for me, the ones that have really tackled this, the ones that have recognised there is a multi-layered role and responsibility here. And yes, our networks are still crucial in delivering change on the ground. And without that passion, we couldn't do this. But now, some of those leaders in organisations we work with are actually recognising that this misalignment needs to be addressed. And what they think they're doing and what is landing in terms of lived experience needs some work. So I guess the ways in which I've seen this play out is the organisation that have put their leaders through some sort of development in terms of inclusive leadership and building up their cultural intelligence. And this has been really crucial in bridging that cultural connection gap and that misalignment gap. And for me, what I'm starting to see through that development is that they are connecting now with difference. They're starting to have much more conversations around privilege dynamics, which they didn't want to have before and felt quite uncomfortable. They've started to understand the impact that microaggressive comments and behaviours have on the workforce. They're being less defensive, actually, and less fearful, and are responding to their own company insight that shows where disproportionate outcomes might exist on the grounds of race in their workplace. Many organisations have been doing mentoring for a number of years. It's not particularly new to them, but really impactful race reciprocal mentoring is somewhat different. And if done well and with the correct infrastructure, it can be really powerful for all involved. It does require the following ingredients, though, however, to make things work, and I'll just go through a few of those. So careful consideration regarding the matching of mentees and mentors, an understanding of the different dynamics of this partnership, strong and clear objectives set from the start for both parties so they know what to expect, but also so they can evaluate success. I guess perhaps the most important component here is the setup. And how do we equip both parties for this process? So let's just say in my example, the mentee is a white senior leader, perhaps he's male. He needs to go into this pairing equipped to be the best. Now that may require a level of cultural intelligence that he doesn't currently have. So this is where cultural connection coaching can be really powerful. Now, quite frankly, him embarking on this journey without the knowledge or the backstory of race or the historical context will mean he'll lack credibility. Now, he also needs to be culturally curious, open-minded, and driven to learn about differences in experiences that could be very different to his own cultural frame of reference. Now, let's just say for the mentor, let's say a Black junior female in my example, she also needs to be equipped with the skills, the level to which she can influence the conversation and can perhaps present barriers in an action-oriented way so she can talk about solutions as well as challenges. She also needs to be confident to lead these sessions as the mentor, even though she may be aware of organisational hierarchy. Now, what we've seen when this is done well is the impact is significant. It provides a safe space where both parties can share in a very psychologically safe environment. It's helped to remove barriers. It's raised visibility and awareness of both parties. But as a result, when we've done some analysis, we have seen an increase in diverse groups going forward for promotion when they hadn't before. We've seen engagement levels increase, and we've started to measure and see a culture where people now call out issues which are actually taken seriously and being addressed. So I guess in summary, the more progressive organisations are moving away from just expecting people of colour to have all the answers, and they're driving some real change and are connecting in different layers. I think the final thing for me to say is that they are building stronger governance structures as well. So their employee networks on the ground are starting to have a real voice, and that voice is heard at senior levels, with many examples that I've got where they're inviting their network chairs into the board meetings and giving that voice and enabling more action.